Some accidents are tragic, others are just weird. So weird, they make you stop mid-scroll. From a man swallowed by a sidewalk to a lawn chair fight gone wrong, these stories aren't made up. They happened, and they prove that life doesn't always follow logic. Buckle up, because we're counting down 10 of the strangest, most bizarre accidents the world has ever seen. And number 3 will make your jaw drop. At number 10, we have the sinkhole incident. On February 28, 2013, in Sefner, Florida, 37-year-old Jeff Bush was asleep in his bedroom when a sinkhole suddenly opened beneath his bed at around 11 p.m. The hole was approximately 20 feet wide and 20 feet deep.
This is our first look at the massive sinkhole that swallowed up 37-year-old Jeff Bush while sleeping in his bed.
Jeff's brother, Jeremy Bush, heard a loud crash and rushed to the room. He tried to jump in after him, but was pulled back by emergency responders. Jeff was never seen again.
Be harnessed up on that equipment and try and rescue him.
Authorities say that's just too dangerous.
Officials evacuated the surrounding homes, fearing further collapse. Geologists used ground-penetrating radar and determined that the area was unstable. The house was condemned and later demolished. The sinkhole remained open for several days before being filled with gravel and cement. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was a 29-year-old engineer working for Mitsubishi when he traveled to Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. That morning, he was walking to the shipyard when the US dropped the first atomic bomb. The blast severely burned his face and arms and ruptured his eardrums. He spent the night in a bomb shelter.
It was the morning of August 6, 1945. Yamaguchi had just finished a 3-month assignment in Hiroshima, where he worked designing oil tankers for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
The next day, he returned to his home city, Nagasaki, nearly 200 miles away. Despite his injuries, he reported to work on August 7th and was telling his supervisor about the Hiroshima bombing. When the second atomic bomb exploded over Nagasaki, he was again injured but survived.
They reached a train full of equally as burnt and shell-shocked people heading for home or refuge in Nagasaki.
Yamaguchi lived until 2009. In that year, the Japanese government officially recognized him as the only person verified to have survived both bombings. He was later named a double hibbakusha. This incident that happened in 2017, a South African bodybuilder, Sifiso Tabete, known as Siso Lilo, had just won a championship in Johannesburg and was rising fast in the fitness world. A month later, he returned to his hometown of Umlazi, where a crowd gathered at a local gym to welcome him.
That's why we bring it to all of you guys. Clap them hands high!
As he entered, flexing and smiling, he attempted his signature backflip, something he'd done many times before. But this time, he slipped, landing hard on his head and neck. He never got up. Trainers rushed to help, but the 23-year-old died from a suspected broken neck. Officials later said he was wearing socks, which may have caused the slip. On February 23, 2008, one of the US Air Force's most advanced aircraft, a B-2 stealth bomber worth $1.4 billion, crashed just seconds after takeoff from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam. It was one of only 21 ever built. The cause? Moisture had slipped into the aircraft's sensors, feeding faulty flight data to the computer. As the plane lifted off, it suddenly pitched upward, stalled, and slammed into the ground. Both pilots managed to eject and survived, but the bomber was destroyed in a fiery wreck. It became one of the most expensive aviation accidents in history. The crash exposed a major flaw in the aircraft's high-tech systems and shook confidence in its exposed invincibility. In 1998, during a soccer match in the Democratic Republic of Congo, tragedy struck most bizarrely and terrifyingly. As the Basanga team played on a stormy day, a sudden lightning bolt hit the field. In an instant, all 11 players from Basanga collapsed and died. Strangely, not a single player from the opposing home team was harmed. The crowd and players stood frozen, unable to understand what had just happened. Rumors of witchcraft quickly spread through the village, but investigators blamed the lightning strike, a rare but deadly act of nature. The events left families devastated and remains one of the most chilling moments in sports history, where a single flash of lightning took out an entire team. One late night in Vernon, California, tragedy struck inside Tina Burrito's food plant. A 19-year-old sanitation worker was cleaning a massive industrial meat grinder. Routine work until everything went wrong.
A 19-year-old worker was tragically killed at Tina's Burritos in Vernon, California after falling into a meat grinder while cleaning.
For reasons still under investigation, the grinder suddenly turned on. In a terrifying instant, it pulled him in. His co-workers rushed to stop the machine, hitting emergency switches and screaming for help. But it was too late.
A sanitation worker was cleaning an industrial meat grinder. When he fell inside, that machine then somehow turned on.
The young man was crushed inside the equipment. Authorities believe the company may have failed to follow proper lockout and tagout procedures, safety steps meant to ensure machines are off and can't restart during cleaning or maintenance. On a clear morning near Reagan International Airport, tragedy struck when an American Airlines Bombardier CRJ-700 collided mid-air with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River. The crash happened at just 325 feet, well below commercial flight paths, but above the allowed altitude for helicopters in that zone. All 67 people aboard both aircraft were killed instantly. The scene was chaos as wreckage rained into the river. Flight data from both black boxes showed confusing altitude readings, with the helicopter appearing to drift higher than allowed. Air traffic control readings revealed possible miscommunication, but nothing conclusive. Pilots on both sides had little time to react. Military families and commercial passengers were among the victims, their lives ending in a moment of system failure.
Since they were simulating taking a high-ranking government official out of Washington, D.C., you don't want them to know where the helicopter's at or who is on board, clearly.
The incident became one of the deadliest U.S. aviation disasters in decades, sending shockwaves through both civilian and military flight communities. This incident happened on August 25th during a quiet afternoon at a backyard pool. It was a warm August afternoon in 2024 when a backyard pool in Logansport, Indiana turned into a scene of panic. 2 adults and 3 children were cooling off in the water, laughing, playing until something went wrong. A strange vibration ran through the water. Then, silence. One by one, they began to lose consciousness.
5 people were sent to the hospital after Logansport police say they were electrocuted in a swimming pool.
A 16-year-old lifeguard in training, standing nearby, realized something was off. His father, sister, and friends were floating unresponsive. The teen raced to shut off the power, then dove into the pool, dragging each one to safety with shaking hands.
Logansport police tell us they did not see any signs of criminal activity.
Later, investigators found the cause. A submersible pump near the ladder had a damaged wire. Electricity had surged into the water. All 5 victims were rushed to the hospital. Emergency crews said the teens' quick actions likely saved their lives. In 2017, Rebecca Berger, a 33-year-old French fitness influencer, was in her kitchen preparing whipped cream when something went horribly wrong. She grabbed a cream dispenser, one she'd used many times before, but as she pressed down, The metal canister exploded in her hands. The force hit her chest with the impact of flying shrapnel. Her heart went into cardiac arrest almost instantly. Paramedics tried to save her, but the injury was too severe.
French fitness blogger dies from a heart attack after a defective whipped cream dispenser explodes.
Rebecca had over 200,000 followers who knew her as strong, healthy, and full of life. Her family later warned others, saying the same brand of canister had caused similar accidents before. One everyday object had turned unexpectedly deadly in a matter of seconds. At number 1, we have in October 2024 a 37-year-old photographer, Amanda Gallagher, who was on assignment at a skydiving drop zone in Darby, Kansas, capturing thrilling moments as jumpers boarded their plane.
She spoke in 2017 about her remarkable recovery.
After a flight, she remained by the aircraft, camera in hand. Without warning, she stepped backward right into a still spinning propeller of a Cessna 182. The rotor blades struck instantly. Bystanders screamed, rushing to her side. Paramedics arrived and took her to a nearby hospital, but her injuries proved fatal.
Diver Amanda Gallagher killed after walking backwards into the propeller of a small plane.
Amanda, known for her adventurous spirit and love for skydiving, had been doing what she loved until a tragic misstep ended it. The drop zone later said she broke safety protocol, but for friends and family, she was simply a creative soul lost in a moment. From exploding canisters to runaway molasses, these bizarre incidents leave us stunned at fate's wild twists. Life's unpredictable, one survivor said, and these stories prove it. Which shocked you most? Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Join us next for more Mazza-filled tales of the unexpected. Stay curious, y'all.